We all love carbon fiber. As cyclists, that is our kryptonite. And in today's video, we're going to be showing you guys this beautiful looking one-piece carbon fiber crankset. Until now, there's only been really one company out there that's been dominating the carbon fiber crankset, and that is THM, that makes a one-piece carbon fiber crankset on the upwards of $1,600 USD for a non-power meter set. And they pretty much dominated the market. If you want anything carbon fiber, that was a crankset to go ahead and get. But the company Elilee has a solution for this, and this one, as you guys see set up, is right around 800 USD. Now, by any means, that is no chump change. That is an expensive crank, but if you look at any of the top line people that this crank is supposed to be replacing, a Durace crank, a SRAM Red crank, a THM crank, whatever it is out there, it's in the realm of that price point. But this crank being $800 with a spider is a really good deal because it is extremely lightweight. And I've been using Elilee cranks on another one of my bicycles as well. And it seems to be pretty promising if you wanted to get that full carbon fiber look, but also two, to achieve a stupid lightweight build on there. So in today's video, we'll be going through all of the benefits of this crankset, showcase what the specs are for installing, showcase how to go ahead and put on the spider and everything like that as well. And I'll be putting it inside my bicycle, and I'll tell you guys the spindle size because it comes in two different ones, which is kind of confusing. And also I'll give you their power meter options if you guys wanted to. But the crank set on here is absolutely beautiful. This is the mega hole, the super hole. I mean, look at the detail on that. That is the spindle going directly into that non-drive side crank arm. And this is in a 165 configuration. And like I said, for the longest time, you did not get a carbon fiber crank arm unless you were going with the Germans, the THM crankset, which by all means is a beautiful crankset. Obviously, we all want that, but we can't afford that. So anyways, guys, it is December 23rd. I have my Christmas pajamas on because I just came from a Christmas party. Merry Christmas, happy holidays to everyone out there who's watching. Let's go ahead and get into all this products, and we'll see the final product installed on this project that I'll tell you guys in a future video. So this crank that we're taking a look at today is called the Elilee X-Novanta, and this is their full balls to the wall one-piece carbon fiber. This is everything you're going to get, and this is the cream of the crop. I've installed these on a couple people's bicycles, and they've been performing very well. So now it's my turn to take a deep dive into there. Being the weight that I am, I'm always obviously scared at carbon fiber pieces like this. But a lot of the other customers who I've installed this on are about the same weight. And they've had great performance, and the installation has gone really well. You have this little compression ring here to take up the free space. The spindle is a carbon fiber spindle, but it is not a true dub, or it is not a true 30. They give you adapters, which I thought was pretty weird. But we'll dive into that in just a second. Elilee also, I am sorry if I'm butchering that name, but Elilee also makes two other cranksets. They make a dub version in a titanium spindle, and also a 24 millimeter in a titanium spindle as well, which I'm currently running on my Quick Pro, which I'm going to show you guys in just a second. This is the other variation of their crankset, the Elilee X310, and this is in a 24 millimeter configuration, and it's installed pretty similar to the other crank. It has a compression nut on the other side to take up the free space, and they give you spacers included. I've been running this crankset on this bike and other bikes that I've swapped over from group sets, and it has been performing amazingly. It's a 165 millimeter configuration, and this one is much cheaper. I believe it's like $430 for just this crankset, or just this crank arm. And it's very lightweight, but not where that crank is. I think this is in the 300s, but the other one's in the 200s. But for sure, this is the crankset that I recommend to people if they're running a Shimano crankset. I don't know what you guys are doing nowadays. Those things are ultra heavy. They're about 500 grams with the spider. And they've been about the same crankset for a very long time. So any kind of carbon fiber cranksets you guys can go ahead and upgrade to, you're going to shave off 200 grams easily going to any one of these cranksets out there. So it's a huge amount of weight that you're removing from the bicycle. And also, it looks cool. So let's hop on back over to the crankset right there. Wow. Hold on, wait, one more. That was just too good. Wow. Wow. Ah! All right, so let's take a look at what you guys get inside the box. So you can see here, we got the X-Novanta, In a 165 option, you can either get it without a power meter, which is $750 for just the setup. If you do buy a non-power meter, you will have to buy the spider separately. So depending on which chainring you have for configuration, either if it's Shimano, a 4-bolt 110 BCD, a 4-bolt 130, a 5-bolt 130, you can choose those options right there on their website. I'll put a link down below where you guys can find that out. But they do also power meter options as well. You can get an XKD for like $1,000 or even a SRM power meter as well, which is stupid expensive for like $2,700. But also inside the box, not only do you get the crank arms, you also get their, these are receivers or adapters to go ahead and fill in the bottom bracket, which we'll talk about in just a second, because this spindle on this crank is not dub or BB30. Like I said, it's actually smaller. They give you these cups. This is for BB30, if you want to put it inside a BB30 bottom bracket, or they give you the cups for a SRAM dub, which I already have installed on this bottom bracket right here. This is an Origin 8 BB, and those spacers or those plastic cups goes right into the seals on top of that. So you see how that moves right on top of there? So that actually goes ahead and fills a void to go ahead and make sure that it's much better contact inside there and fills it up. Now, the reason for this is because you don't want raw carbon sitting right on top of a metal bearing because of the fact that that can cause extreme wear if you're, pedaling left and right. So they want this plastic cup on here to go ahead and take away those sharp edges off this carbon fiber. So that's really what this is all planned to do on there. There's also little tiny pedal washers inside here, and I believe there's also little tiny spacer kits to fill the void like a SRAM dub for spacing depending on your bottom bracket size or width. Like on here, I'm running a T47 on this bottom bracket on this bicycle, which is a pretty wide bottom bracket. It's a T47 with an outboard bottom bracket, so I don't really need spacers. But on my Quick Pro, I needed a couple spacers to fill the void because it's a smaller BB on there. So you do have two different options for bottom bracket standards. So keep that in mind, which is always cool. But that's pretty much all you get inside the box. But $750 is an extreme bargain. Okay. I know you guys are going to be like, oh, fuck you. It's not extreme. That's stupid. It's a lot of money. It is very expensive. I know that. But in realm or in relative to what you're selling for, this is supposed to go up against your Durace, your SRAM Red, your THM, your all those high-end cranks out there. A Durace is $600. The SRAM Red is $800 with the crank arms and spider assembly. The THM is $1,600 with no power meter. So this, in the realm of $750 or $800, is crazy stupid light. And they claim this thing to be 294 grams. Stupid lightweight. To keep that in reference, a Shimano Durace crankset with spider included is like 550 grams. This is 200 grams lighter than that crank, okay? Ridiculous. Let's go ahead and weigh this thing just so you guys know. We're going to do one weight with the spider on and one weight with the spider off. Because of the fact that I'm really aiming it against the THM La Clavicle, which I'll show you guys right now. Editor, go ahead and throw up on screen the picture of the THM Clavicula SE Road. Cool, thanks, editor. So this is the crank that we're talking about in hand that pretty much competes hand in hand with this bike. It is a full one-piece carbon fiber crank, and it also has the carbon fiber spindle on here, as you guys can see. It is really high-end, and the detail of quality is nice. The spider is integrated to this crank arm, so that's how they achieve the weight. You can choose your different bolt circumference diameter as well. And I'm unsure if the spindle is a true dub on there. And I don't know if they don't need the plastic cups, but I would assume they do to go ahead and reduce the wear of that carbon fiber spindle. But this is the crank in question that we're going against. This thing without a power meter is 1,600 euros right there. You can get it with a power meter as well to bring up to $2,700 incorporated in there. Absolute beautiful. It is a flex for sure. You bring this to the local coffee ride, people are going to be drooling over it, and people know what this crank is. But going back over to our other crank, this is half the price at $800 with a spider, and it is right in the realm of weight. That THM crank that I showed you without power meter and integrated spider on there comes in around 294 grams, I believe, for a normal BCD on there. And the weight of this, and we're going to be weighing with a spider just to give you guys an idea, because obviously fair is fair. Drive side is 163. Non-drive side is 322 grams. So we're off by pretty much 30 grams for half the price on there, okay? Which is extremely lightweight for a crank set. Now, I'm going to remove the spider on here to go show you guys the other weight. And just so you guys know, the interface for the crank spider is a old school style bottom bracket. I'm pretty sure it's Easton. Where's our tool at? Hold on a second. I'm pretty sure it's Easton interface, but this is the tool we use. Just a normal old school style square tapered bottom bracket tool removal system on here. So we're going to put this in here. Put this inside the vise. So dyslexia kick in. We're lefty loosey on there. And now we can go ahead and finger this thing off. No, we can't. Remove said spider, which is stupid lightweight as well. That's a pretty lightweight aluminum spider. Let's go ahead and take you guys back over the scale. Just for craps and gigs. Throw it on here. This is without said spider. And a 165 weight. 279 grams, which is wild. You can probably get, that spider's stupid lightweight, but you can probably get like a crazy lightweight spider made. But again, $800 for a said carbon fiber crank. Super nice. Let's go ahead and install this thing on bike, and I can show you guys how it installs and how it looks. Okay, so like I said, I already have the adapter cups going into that bottom bracket. We're going to lube up our said carbon fiber spindle, like so. Just a little bit on here. Just make it shiny on there. And we're going to shove it on through this BB. I don't want to get any grease in my pajamas. Give it a little wiggle. All right. So there we go. Crankset's in there. I don't know how much drag those little tiny adapters add to that. But obviously if you're buying this crankset, I don't really think you're going off of crazy performance. I think you're just trying to achieve a weight just for bragging rights. But once this thing dials in, it actually spins pretty nicely. So it's an 8mm. And I gotta say too, aesthetically, this is one of the nicest cranksets I've seen out on the market. Just from the font, the logo, everything out there, I like it a lot. Okay. Over here. And what do you guys think of the bike? The yellow machine. This is my yellow machine that I'm really excited to finish this thing up. All right, so that's tight right there. I'm gonna make sure that there's no space in that preload. So it has a nice spin on there. Very little drag, you can see. So make sure this thing is dialed in. Move it just a little bit. All we're doing is rotating this preload until we feel pressure against there to take up free space. But it feels like it's pretty much at that point. And then all we're going to do is we're going to take a little tool for that T. I believe it's a T15. And we're going to tighten up this bad boy right here to make sure this doesn't move on us. Yes, it is a T15. And like I said, I didn't need any spacers for this one, but on my other crank, I did need spacers for that. This will be going on my tarmac eventually. But we just came back from a Christmas party and I got to get home. and I want to finish this build with this bike. But oof, that is a beautiful crankset on there. And that's, I can't wait to show you guys. This bike is, let's go ahead and install the chainring real quick. That's gonna look sick. We're putting on a 52 tooth stone on here. Dinner plate, let's go ahead and install it. Woo! There it is. I have to come back tomorrow to do it. I need spacers for my bolts on here. Just to fill the void on there for a single chainring on there. The other gear has play, but I just don't feel like doing it tonight because it's late. But I will be finishing this bike up soon. I think the bike's coming together absolutely gorgeous. I'm missing my 105 rear derailleur in here because I'm missing the knuckle for the piece because I usually run a direct mount. And I'm missing brake rotors on there. But other than that, man, the bike is coming together beautifully. That is such a cool looking bike. Even got the Pirelli. Let me know what I should do for the wheels. I'm thinking about taking the gold off and just going all black. But we'll see in the future. But anyways, guys, that is the conclusion for this video for this Elilee X-Novanta crankset. Like I said, if you're looking for an extra way to go ahead and get off some weight, especially if you have a Shimano crankset, by all means, check out Elilee, check out other companies out there as well. They are a massive weight savings out there. The carbon fiber is a stretch. It is a very expensive option, but they do have other options out there. Like I said, for $400, you get a really lightweight crankset as well that I'm running on my Quick Pro, and they've been in the game for a very long time. And the branding and the look of the cranks, I think they're one of the nicest ones out there on the market. So I'll put a link down below where you guys can find them at. But yeah, let me know what you guys think. And I like the super hole. I love the look of this non-drive super. That just, but I mean, that's a really cool looking design to have literally like a waterfall of carbon into the spindle and this all be one piece on there. I think they did a really good job with that design. Looks really clean on there. But anyways, guys, let me know what you guys think of this crankset. And if you guys are looking for a complete carbon fiber crankset for half the cost of the competition out there, check them out. And anyways, guys, that's going to do it for this video. Thank you again so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.